Hello and welcome to another episode of the Plus 63 HP Podcast Reviews Edition. I am one of your hosts, John Clemente. Alongside with me is my bestest best friend in the entire world, Chubax. How you doing, Chubax?
Hello, I'm Chubax, and you can call me Chubax. Getting
There
used to
you
that,
go.
but yeah, hello, welcome,
Yes.
and we're
Yes,
we're
we're
back.
calling it backs. Awesome. Again, if this is the first time you've clicked onto our channel, welcome. Thank you very much for the view. The plus 63 HP Nexus of podcasts are a group of multiple shows that provides you information on how to watch your content. On Mondays and Tuesdays, we drop this episode, the reviews episodes, where we review either one series of the week or movie of the week, provide our opinions, deep dive into them, and rank them or rate them so that you know if you should watch it with your friends and family as well. On Wednesdays, we drop our very first D&D campaign. Bunch of middle-aged men doing their very first D&D campaign, recording it for posterity. Hopefully, you can join along in our adventures. On Thursdays, we curate a list of featurettes, short videos, clips, trailers. We react to them and see how hyped we are for upcoming content in the next couple of months and years. Fridays, we Chubax here and our other brother Raymond is too addicted to D&D. They have their second campaign that also drops Fridays and Saturdays, so you can join along that adventure as well. So if you want to watch us video on demand, just type in youtube.com/plus 63HP. Click like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when our videos are dropping. If you want to follow us, interact with us on the social medias, our handle is at plus 63HP. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. If you just want to listen to us, put us in the background while you're working, doing your chores. That's also totally fine. Pull up your phone, look into your favorite podcasting app of choice, search plus 63HP, and we will be there. We particularly like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Amazon. So, without further ado, this week, our movie of the week that we're going to review is the recently released on video on demand Scott Derrickson written and directed film Black Phone, starring Ethan Hawke. It originally came out September 25th, um, and
2021.
2021, and then re-released in June 24th on video on demand June 24th, 2022. It's only 102 minutes, so it's under 2 hours, very tight, very succinct, super fun. The budget of its creation is only between 16 and $18 million. That is important because as of this recording, we are recording on a Saturday, July 30th, 2022. It has grossed $133 million,
Nice.
right? So this goes to show you don't need a lot of budget to have a really good film. Apart from Ethan Hawke, the main star here is Mason Thames and Madeline McGraw, the two kids, brother and sister. They don't have Wikipedia pages, so I'm assuming that this is one of their first roles, and they crushed it. So before we go into the synopsis, go into details of what had happened in the movie and provide our deep dive analysis of it. Initial reactions of the film's non-spoilery Trebek, so people listening can see if they should watch it themselves.
Initial reaction. I really liked it, and then at the end, I loved it.
Mm,
So it was
good.
like, yeah. So it was like, oh, we'll get to the spoilers later, but yeah, that's I liked it until and then at the end, I loved it.
Same with me. Like aesthetically it looks good. It's set in the 70s, 1978. More specifically Denver area or Denver suburbs. So you don't see that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Ethan Hawke, coming off being a villain in Moon Knight, is also crushing this role despite his face being covered 99% of the time with a
Mm-hmm.
mask. The kids, the acting was great. Again, it's kind of like a coming of age usual middle school, early high school kind of film. And it has a lot of intertwining stories, lots of like layered foreshadowing in terms of the movie, but it's still very, very simple. So it's super accessible. It's
Mhm.
not like one of those super heady horror suspense films where you need to pay attention to every single detail. But if you do, you'll be rewarded at the end. So I really enjoyed it. It's fun. It's suspenseful, but not too much. It has some jump scares, but not too scary. Acting is great. Yeah, this is a very solid movie. Like I would love for this to be on video on demand, like free, like Netflix or Paramount Plus or HBO Max, because this is going to be a good weekend or weekday evening date night movie with your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, because it's super easy. It's like an
Mhm.
hour and 3 minutes. It's 103 minutes, just under 2 hours, and you get a fun film. So yeah, that's our non-spoilery review of Black Phone. If you have not seen it, kind of enthused and excited about it, pause this podcast, this video right now, go watch it, and then come back. Then let's discuss the movie with us. All right, we're gonna give
Yep.
you 2 seconds. One, two. Right, you're back. Cool. Awesome. We're I'm gonna go through the plot very, very quickly, and then we'll go to our favorite ghosts and beats and things about the movie. But it's, again, as mentioned, it's set in 1978 in the Denver suburb, where a child abductor dubbed the Grabber
The
has
gr-
been the grab. So that's the one of the few things that I think it's more historically accurate than cool. Like
Mhm.
back in the day, that's how they call serial killers or serial
And
kidnappers.
it makes sense because they didn't find the body, so there's no MO or any other
Mhm.
characteristic that they can do except the grabber.
Yep. So it's like they figured like a person grabs kids and disappears. So the entire movie centers around siblings uh Finney and
Penny.
Gwen Blake. Finney is the older brother. Gwen is the younger sister. They go to the same school. They have a very small community and a very good relationship between each other. It's alluded to that their father is an alcoholic and they are being raised by a single father. Mom died. We'll soon know later that her mom died, taking her own life because of what Gwen has been experiencing herself. So, as mentioned throughout this time, uh, people in Finney's school have been being has been is being abducted by the grabber. Again, no trace. Uh, only detail that authorities have found is black balloons, which has been hidden publicly, but has been dreamt about by Gwen, alluding to her somewhat psychic abilities that her father has been trying to beat out of her, because those are the same thoughts and dreams and imaginings that her mom eventually could not handle and has taken her life. Of course, skipping through a lot of details, but we find that Finney is also abducted by the grabber, and Gwen trying to use her powers is trying to find her psychically as well. Um, Finney is imprisoned in a soundproof basement where all of the other uh, um, abductees has been imprisoned as well. The main
Yeah.
thrust of the story is Finney is being spoken to by the ghosts of the dead abductees through a black phone, disconnected, but still hung on the wall. Uh,
I
the
love the small details like when you found out the names of the kids that were taken before he meets them.
Mhm,
It wasn't like the typical police where they show them one by one. It's just a little. He see him in the lamppost one, and then the other
mhm,
one it's under here, and then the third one's like mentioned by a dialogue between
mhm.
him and his friend. I like how that was very organic and not the typical here the taken five kids or something like that. So they didn't have to emphasize one by one. So
Yeah, that's a
that was cool.
great call, because there's been five previous abductees prior to Finney, and then only one is really introduced in the film, like
Mm.
directly with Finney, because it was Finney's direct friend, the last abductee. So all the others, like as you mentioned, just posters, just conversations, just previous investigations as well. So it's not, you're not going to kind of like repeat the same, oh, this is the kid abducted at
Mm-hmm.
this date, etc. So it was really well done, and I think that contributes to the very tight 103-minute runtime. But there's two tracks here. The grabber, played by Ethan Hawke, has a particular MO where he plays with the kids, tests these kids so that he enjoys the abuse of what he's going to do with them. If they play, they live a little longer. If they don't play, they die. But eventually, everyone dies. So that's kind of the one track of how you kind of enjoy the menace that Ethan Hawke is performing with on this particular movie. But the main juice, the main heart of the movie is that every single ghost, every single kid that has been abducted, um, tries to talk to Max, not
To
necessarily
Finny,
trying
Finny.
that. Oh, sorry, tries to talk to Finney, not necessarily giving the full answers on how to escape, but each one has attempted a particular aspect that eventually combines into a combo
That's
towards
what
the end
I
that
love
will set
because
yeah.
so that's why at the first part I was a little disappointed because I thought that was what's the supposed to happen, but when they were giving their plan, it was like so different. Like
Yeah.
if he's gonna dig, why is this is Ghost giving him something else? He's not gonna be able to do both. Like,
Mhm.
but then if you think about it, I mean, it's not like they're gonna coordinate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're fucking ghosts. So, but then the way it
and
just comes together, and they're like, oh my god.
and that's where kind of like this becomes like the movie becomes better than the sum of its parts kind of thing. So just going through the five abductees and what they contributed on how of course Finney would eventually escape is the first one is Bruce. We also see Bruce, the first person that spoke to Finney through the black phone was Bruce. Is in the intro of the movie they played baseball together. Finney was a pitcher. Bruce was this Asian hitter that hit off of him. So Bruce gave Finney a hint that there's a loose tile in the hallway of the basement prison that he in, where he can try to dig out of. Right. The next one is Billy. Billy's attempt to escape was pulling out a cord from the wall and trying to use that to kind of escape through the window. Of course, Billy failed. Everybody failed at this point,
They're
died,
all
but
dead.
that's two hints or two tools that Finney could use. The third one is Griffin. Griffin is one of the kids. His contribution is that he warned Finney of the game, right? The game that the grabber likes to play, where the grabber likes to leave the door open so that the kids would try to escape, and then he'd beat them senseless. On top of that, Griffin's
Oh,
bike lock is now
yeah, there we go.
yeah, Griffin's bike lock is used to lock the door, the actual house door, before going out. And there's a cool part about um, figuring out what the correct combination to the lock is, because what we also see across all of these spirits, these ghosts that are helping Finney, is that they all want to get revenge from the grabber. So they're
Hmm.
helping whomever remaining is there, but they're also losing parts of themselves the longer they stay dead. So the first they don't forget their name, and then they forget the details
Some
on what
details.
they tried to do. So it's a good suspense factor of kind of like the haziness of everything. After Griffin, there is Vance, is delinquent. He was the one who told Finney about a particular hole right above the toilet that leads to the back of a freezer. Um, I didn't realize how that detail would help out, but towards the end, right before they escape, it was useful. Robin is the last one. Robin is Finney's actual friend. He's this cool person that's trying to teach Finney to stand up for himself. Robin's contribution is teaching him how to fight, teaching him how to use the black phone to his advantage, packing it with dirt so that he can knock out the grabber and create his escape. All throughout this movie, again, we are told that Max has some inclination to the supernatural, much like her mom. She dreams about details about these kids being abducted, so the death of the kids. So she has some inclination to ghosts. Initially, the police was skeptical about this, but the more details that Max was able to provide them through her dreams, the more Gwen,
Gwen.
the more that they kind of help Gwen or like trust Gwen in terms of the things that she finds out. Continuously, Gwen tries to talk to Jesus, talk to God, talk to the spirits to give him more clues. Sometimes she gets clues, sometimes she doesn't. Eventually, towards the end, she has enough clues and convinces her dad that this might help them find Finney, and then they were able to kind of like, align all of these stars to be able to be there at the end. The last point here, too, before we go to the culmination of the movie, is that the grabber also hears the phone, but he chooses not to engage or chooses not to answer it or not to listen. I like the idea that Finney and Gwen are siblings. Gwen is obviously has some supernatural powers. That's why she sees details through her dreams. But this kind of alludes to Finney being inclined to the supernatural as well, being able to converse directly to the ghosts. So at the end, before Finney's time is up, and he's about to get killed by the grabber, he then combines all of the details that he has done to date to escape. He used the loose tile to dig a hole and trap to dig a hole to be kind of like a trap for the grabber. He uses the cord as a tripping mechanism so that if the grabber attacks Finney in the basement, he loses balance and fall into the hole made from the tile that Bruce gave him. He also used, of course, the details from Griffin about the lock, so he knows how to get out of the house at that point. And he used Robin's technique to fight to like
and the grate from the window.
Oh yeah, and the grate for the window
to break his
as part to kind of like or just like trap him a little bit more. So what had happened too is like, oh, where's the freezer? Where's the hole that Vance has told him? When the grabber is about to kill you, he brings down Max the dog, the very aggressive dog, and then he used then the hole to the freezer to get some meat so that he can subdue the dog prior to him escaping the house. Just a little tidbit. This is towards the end of the movie now. The little tidbit. At the end, Max. So Gwen was able to have.
I think the dog is Simon or something.
I think it's Max.
Max is the brother.
Oh, you're right. Right.
There,
right,
yeah,
right.
Max. There we go.
So, the last bits that we'd like to share is at the end of the film, Gwen, with all the details that she has found, both from given by the ghosts, given by her dreams, she was finally able to pinpoint the actual house where the ghosts were trying to lead them to. There's a little bit of like a what do you call that? Subverting of expectations towards the end.
Red herring.
The house that Gwen was able to find was not where Finney was imprisoned, but it was the house where all the kids were buried after they were killed. But luckily, the house where the grabber does the abusing and the killing is just across the street. So when Finney was doing his escape plan and was able to escape, the the police were just across the street digging up all of the bodies that was killed prior. And that's it. That is The
The
Black Phone, uh, uh starring Ethan Hawke, written by Scott Derrickson of
Doctor
Blumhouse
Strange.
and Doctor Strange 1 fame. Chubax, what do you think? What are your favorite bits of the movie? Let's discuss.
So yeah, I think I love this film. Just like all the things were pretty good. Like I like how they showed just enough of the other kids, like that freaky flashback, but it
Mhm.
was just always fast, and you didn't get to know them too much, just enough, and it wasn't like boring or dragging. And there's always a subversion of expectations here. Like they showed a little VHS tape of Bruce in his his flashback, right, just to get to know him,
Yeah.
and then they showed a typical flashback of the paper boy throwing
Mhm.
newspapers. And then when we get to Vance, it's a typical flashback, and then it becomes a dream
Mhm.
because Gwen's suddenly there, and then she gets into the road.
Yep.
And then, so yeah, at first I was really disappointed. Not really, but I was disappointed that all of them were giving him different instructions. Like it's, I thought it was gonna like coordinate, but it wasn't. But then
Yep.
at the end, that's when everything came together, and I loved, especially the symbolism of the phone ringing when he's strangling him, and then he puts it to it's for you, and then all of them
It's
are
for you.
saying same lines that they said already, but it all made sense together. Like, oh no, it was so good. Just something that's dragging it a little bit is I don't think we got enough Ethan Hawke. I was surprised by, there's no backstory, there's no motivation, there's really
That's
nothing.
true. Okay.
Just
Yeah, we don't know how he got, because again, we skipped the detail that his cokehead brother Max is trying to figure out who the grabber is on in his downtime.
uh
So they have some like kookiness in their family as well. But yeah, we never really knew anything about Ethan Hawke.
yeah, it was weird. It was like, so there's no sexual component. He just beats them, I guess,
Yep.
and then kills them for some reason.
Yep.
Yeah, and so yeah, maybe I'm torn. I mean, I maybe we could have gotten more Ethan Hawke and more of that backstory, but then again, maybe it would have been your typical, typical serial killer.
It's
I don't
also
know.
like about kids too, right? Like actually showing how they were killed or why they were killed might be a little bit difficult.
True. And then, but I love that every ghost presented themselves differently.
Mhm.
Like it was so, I would be pissed at it was who, oh no, Griffin was the one with the he was floating on
Pointing.
his back. Like,
It was like back bendy and pointing
just
the
point normally. Like he didn't have to scare me like that motherfucker. So yeah, everything is all different, always different than what I thought. Like I did we see Bruce? I don't think we saw Bruce, right? We just saw his
just voice for
voice,
Bruce.
and then for Billy, he was the one that you could see. You could see all
Yep,
the wounds, and
clearly.
he was the one that was like all up. But we could see him, but
Yeah.
Finney couldn't. And
Yeah.
then he could see Griffin, the floating one, and
Mhm.
then
Robin is just a
Van was just like
Vance
his
no.
back. Yeah, but we could see his back,
Mhm.
and then Robin was a silhouette. Oh, that
Just a
was,
silhouette.
yeah. But yeah, it was just like, even the end, like the scene from Robin was like so touching. And I also like that they kind of stay away from tropes like, yeah, the father was a alcoholic that beat his kid, but it wasn't because he was a bad guy. He was just like broken. He was wrong, of course. He was beating his kids, but he was doing it because he didn't want her to end up like her mother. I mean, he still loved them. So in the end, I guess hopefully he forgives. He changes his ways, but it's not like he was just angry at them or something for no reason. And yeah, I like that the cops listened. It's not like oh,
Yep.
this bitch,
Right,
this
but
girl,
also it's realistic. At first they were like
yeah,
they
skeptic, but
were they were very, very suspicious, and then the second's like, nope,
And
we're
they didn't
listening
have
to you
it.
now.
There's no lead, so like, oh shit, let's go. Might as well. What can we lose? I mean, that would be like a little realistic to like, if there's no other thing that I know, might as well try something. And yeah, that was it. I loved it. I love how the whole fight scene at the end really icing on the cake.
Yeah, I enjoyed this film too. It's an easy watch. Again, I like the balance of it's just layered enough. Like
Mm-hmm.
I love the idea that so we've discussed it a few times already how it's not formulaic. Every ghost has a different way that they introduce different um backstory, different connection with Finney, because it's not all of his friends. It's some of them he knew, some of them not, some of them like um just tangentially only. So that's kind of the asymmetry of how we get introduced to the characters that have been abducted in a fresh way every single time. That was fun. But I also like the idea of you have enough of the layered um uh for example, for Vance, he was arguing with Finney on the phone, telling him what to do, but the same dialogue is also what he was saying when he was arguing with somebody else in real life when he was alive. And it's also the same way that Gwen was able to dream walk into that particular flashback too.
That
So
one
all kind of holds there, and it's the same dialogue that Van says towards
at
the
the
end
end.
when the grabber was dying. So there's a couple of things like that that kind of like flows into place. So that's good. It's enough of those little small touches that shows you that, Scott Derrickson knows horror, knows suspense. He wrote it, and then he had the other screenplay writer, C. Robert Cargill. I think they knew what they were trying to do. They weren't trying to overdo it, right? It's not like Inception where every single detail weaves into something at the end.
Yeah, it doesn't
Just
make you feel
small bits.
stupid.
Yeah. And then yeah, I like the small drops of how real life works. Like the dad was, he's an ass, but you're towing the line between, he's abusive, but also he's just trying to do his best. Right. So it's like I like those very,
Even
very deep
even the fight scene,
characters.
there's like nice beats, like the three bullies that were beating him up, and then the sister comes in, and then she
Mm-hmm.
wraps one with a stone,
With a stone, and they
and
were
then
just
he
sitting
goes
together.
down, and then they were just sitting together, like look, like this is fucked up. Like I love that scene where the two guys are
Yep.
beating him up, and like you don't normally see that in a fight scene, in a bully scene. So that was so cool.
Yeah, I mean, and you, me, we that we've just saw a couple of like Stranger Things and Miss Marvel where there's some bullying scenes there. Never really a big fan of like these kids because like one, you never see these people beat each other up this badly. Else they're gonna get their parents are gonna get
Mm-hmm.
arrested if their kids beat somebody. But they have this way. It's not too overboard.
And I
They
think
at
the
least
time the
reel it
time
back.
1978 also is kind of.
Yeah, but they reel it back enough where, like what you mentioned, they were beating somebody. Finney was being bullied by three people. Gwen comes to the rescue for one. So it's like it's realistic that your younger sister can't tackle all three. She'll clock one, so that's good. Like, all right,
Yeah.
okay, and then they're both out. So it's 2-1, and then they still were able to go home to get go back home together. So like that's it's kind of good. I like how I love how everything works. The only thing that I did not like my small nits, but also this is kind of like in movie you have to manage your expectations a little bit. In terms of the things that Finney was doing in the basement prison, I can't believe that Ethan Hawke, like yeah, the grabber wouldn't figure some of those out. Like you dug a hole in an afternoon that deep and you just kept flushing the whatever you dig, the
The dirt.
soil into the toilet. What? And then you don't have dirty fingernails, you don't have dirty hands, are your clothes not dirty? So there's certain things there that kind of like, come on, like you didn't notice that? Like you pull down the entire window and you don't notice the bars of the window is no longer there. Um, but again, it was looking at it, it was like 3 or 4 day span of all of these things happening. So it might be also like there's other things that the grabber is doing during the day to notice such details. But overall, I enjoyed the movie. I hope that I like these one shot movies where
Yeah.
it's not a franchise. It's just a good film. You
Original.
sit down. You don't have to know anything backstory about anything. Just sit down and open your eyes. It's going to be fun. All right, with that, final thoughts and your rating for the Black Phone, Chubax.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely watch it and bring a date. Uh, my wife hated it. I was scared, too scared, but rating, I'll give it a 9. I liked it. I really liked it.
Ooh. Um, I'm gonna give it an 8. It's a solid 8. It's one of those like maybe I'm not giving it a 9 because I have again I mentioned I have Carflix. Carl has access to all of the streaming videos, but
Mm-hmm.
car because I think it's too new, it didn't have enough seeds, so we weren't able to watch this fully on free. So I had to rent this for $20 on Amazon. So
Mm-hmm.
renting this is
I
$20.
I rented it
Yeah,
as well because I
yeah,
think it
it's a
was gonna be
little.
worth it, and it's worth it.
Yeah, I think $9, $10 is better. $5 is better. $20 is a lot of money,
Uh,
but it's a really good film. I'm sure that in a month or two, this is going to be out free in streaming services, and it's definitely one to watch there. So, final goodbyes, Box.
yeah, I really liked it. Give it a try, and I'll see you in the next one.
Again, thank you very much for watching. This has been Plus 63 HP Reviews Edition. Again, grab your mom's phone, your dad's phone, your siblings' phones, pull in the YouTube app, search Plus 63 HP, or go to the browser, youtube.com/plus 63 HP. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It helps us with the algorithms. It helps us amplify our voices to reach the people there, like-minded individuals that like cool content. Hit the notification bell because we have 4 or 5 videos every week. So come join us. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at +63HP. And if you really can't watch this video on demand, listen to us while you're doing your chores, cleaning your apartment, or working. Grab your favorite podcasting app, search +63HP, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts. We are there. Like us there and subscribes to us there too. It really help us out. With that, thank you very much. We're gonna have a break next week, but when we come back, we have plenty of series and shows to be reviewing with you guys. This July lull is going to be dead. Once we hit August, there is so many movies and series, and we are excited to discuss all of them with you. And with that, thank you very much for watching the movie, and see you next time. Bye.